Hey friends! This is the first part of a series called Top 8 Things for Zero Waste Living. Let's go take a look at what the number one thing is we can do to help reduce waste. Drum roll, please. What I've learned is the number one way to reduce waste is composting. This is only half of what we want to put into the compost. The other half is dry materials. So what I've learned, if you're gonna compost and you're not doing it with your municipality, if you're doing it with your municipality, put in all the wet and dry and they mix it at wherever they take it to mix it and process the compost. If you're doing it in your own garden, community garden, you want to mix it about 50-50 yourself. And so the wet is all the food leftovers, scraps from fruits and vegetables mainly, and if you do meat scraps, that's cool too. And the dry stuff. So in this bin I have cardboard and paper, and the smaller the bits, the better. It'll decompose quicker and it'll mix better and have more air flowing through when it's smaller bits mixed together of both the wet and dry. So if I say have like a big watermelon or other like fruit or vegetable peel in a big piece, I'll just quickly dice up into smaller chunks, and it's way better for faster decomposition rate. Other dried goods you can add in there: dry leaves, sawdust, corn stalks. What else? I got a list here: straw and wood chips and any paper, so like newspaper or any other paper or cardboard that is non-glossy and doesn't have any waxy material on it can be torn up and put in your compost. So every once in a while I just take some paper or cardboard and rip it up and put it in the bin that's the same size as my wet materials bin, and then I mix them in together so that it has that nice balance. It helps to reduce smell, it helps the decomposition rate go faster, and this is even without worms. It all decomposes so much quicker, and you have soil much faster, and you can add it into your garden and your pots or bins or however, wherever you're growing your food and flowers. And it is a lot of fun. The reason I have so much paper actually is because I was saving up like a large bin of paper to take to the eco station, because they have a paper recycling bin there. And I know like when you take things directly to the eco station, they're more likely to actually get recycled and sorted properly when I'm sorting them myself. So I've been saving all this paper, a lot, most of which is non-glossy, non-waxy kind of paper, so I can just add it to my compost instead. So the bin is slowly going down as I'm adding stuff from there to the compost. And this bin I've been collecting for like a year or more, so it's like a 70-liter big Tupperware storage bin. And yeah, I'll have a lot of paper from there to add, since I don't have as much paper coming into my life anymore since I introduced the Rocketbook Everlast as my last notebook. But I have a bunch of paper, and other people have paper that I could say, hey, you have any paper that you're thinking of recycling? I could take it off your hands and use it in my compost. So there's always ways to get dry goods. Like if you live in an apartment and you don't have dry leaves or any like access to straw and other, like you could buy straw from garden centers and stuff. But if you live in an apartment, you probably don't want to have a bale of straw in your apartment. So there's always ways around it. If your municipality doesn't compost, take your compost to a farm. Just call up farms. Often will be like, yeah, sure, I'll take your compost off your hands for free. That's nutrient rich stuff for my soil, for our gardens. And there's always a way to compost. Even in New York City, they have drop-off stations every once in a while I think it's once every 2 weeks. You could search in your area, like at farmers markets in different places where you can, or garden centers, where you can drop off your compost materials. And so your apartment doesn't get stinky. Like if you have nowhere to store it other than inside, then either do like an airtight container as I do, or store it in a bag or a bowl or something in the freezer so it doesn't have that smell, and take it whenever the drop off is available. And there you have it. Anyone can compost. And if you just have a forest nearby, there's ways to do in-ground composting, just digging your own trench and doing it directly into the soil as well. So where there's a will, there's a way, as the old saying goes, and composting is the number one thing to help reduce waste in our landfills. And if you would like to learn more, there are going to be 7 more sessions in this series on the top 8 things the top 8 things for zero waste living.